So, what happens when you're being trained in unarmed combat? It doesn't matter what time or place, right? You're actually put in max security. Now,
Holy shit.
now even like this is at the time when I went to jail. Things may have changed now. I don't know. And you know what? At the time, I was a heavy drinker and a heavy drug user, so I could have provoked it too as well. I take responsibility for the situation I put myself in.
Because you showed them those skills.
Aggression
kind of,
and aggression, right? And I knew what I was doing, and I, was fighting, right? Probably, and so I go and none of that really even mattered. It came down to when I walked into it's called the range, right? The guy said, new fish going down range, and I mean, if anybody like yourself and me know, downrange means a whole different thing, right?
Two-way range. Let's
Yeah.
go.
So
For keeps.
I said, you have no idea what it means to go downrange, right? So, even in my pride getting maybe the best of me, and me saying that to the person, right, was the wrong thing, and that's,
Was he corrections officer or an inmate?
no, he's an inmate, so yeah, so it
So
didn't.
right away you showed your fucking canines.
Yeah, right. So it didn't really work out so well because, like, I wasn't there with any of my
Anyone.
team. Yeah,
Oh,
right. So
bro.
I was alone, right?
Yeah. And you're a different breed, even though you're saying like you're naturally different breed because you were drilled in an ethos and participated in such an ethos that even when you're at your lowest, you're still like an incredible human being who has an amazing skill set and probably has your eyes are always bright and you're like energetic. Am I mistaken here and you always stand out anyway?
I for a long time, it's very difficult. Just give a little back context. My parents were in the military. My mother was a chief. My dad was a mass warrant officer. My dad was a Patricia and in the airborne. So I was in it from day one. I'm actually the product of a couple extra drinks at the junior ranks in Cornwallis because that's where I was born. So I know that, and I was in cadets and reserves, stuff like that, and I knew exactly what I was gonna do, right? And so there was no illusions, but they were pretty big shoes to fit. So I rebelled for a long time like before I joined, and when I was a kid, but I knew where I was going. I knew what I was going to do. I knew what I signed up for and all that stuff. So, but I don't know why we take the road that we do when we get done. And I know for guys my era, I guess to say, it's not that it's different than anybody else's, but it is some different factors.
Yes,
That's
very
what I want.
true,
That's just
man.
I just want to point out that
James
that's
speaks to a whole other, and I said
Yeah.
this to you. I want to say this. James speaks to a whole other generation that I can never speak to because they're our mentors. They went to fucking the shit. They fought the mean fucking Taliban. They had Delta. They had fucking Masangard. That's where fucking A-10s were introduced. We had fucking Apache Kiowa's huge operations, plus Canada taking the largest AO in the entire fucking existence of Afghanistan and the fucking NATO forces. And even Canadians were pushed. I was in Helmand. I saw the border of the Pakistan border. We have Kalat, which is a really neat American range. Panjway, see, and that's
Tardak
where
Farms.
you speak because that's your territory. I can't speak there.
Oh, you know what? I think that you're wrong because I believe that you can, because I think that we all should have a bit of humility, right, and be open, right? Like we were talking about before, if people want help and they want support, you have to be open the lines of communication. I think we can all learn from each other, and the guys who now are maybe going to Niger or wherever, right, or the people who are going to retire soon, right, or even the guys who retired 5 years ago, right, and are finally coming out. We are better prepared to help them, right? because we've already seen the struggle, right?
That's right. And you know what? There's another group, an interesting group, and that's the 09, 010 guys. They're fucking all in isolation right now. My one buddy, he was in here, and right away, like, I have a system. Didn't like my system. He was like super upset about it. I'm sorry you're upset about it, buddy. And then he went back and he just like boom off. And he's dealing with like some serious shit, like real his own shit. You know what I mean? It's legit.
Yeah.
And he's alone.
And we do. I don't know why we do it. And I mean, I work with a organization called the Veterans Transition Network, and I really think that it's a struggle because we shouldn't be alone, and people, and you, me, Brittany, everybody, Carrie, when we put the word out there and we are open.
Saint Carrie.
Yeah, Saint Carrie for sure.
Saint Carrie.
100%. That, you know, when we get open and tell people what's going on and how, you know, what the feelings are, they're more inept to give support, right? And maybe know a little bit more about what's going on.
Know the loneliness because of who the fuck do we fit in with, man? All our bros are still in, or they're fucking going to, like, we're all banded together. Like, you are from a totally different culture of 1VP, banded together. I'm 2VP, 3VP, and these are people from all over the fucking Canada, this great country, put together, and then as soon as we're fucking left or leave, back to home province, man.
Yeah, that's killer, right? You're just kind of, you know, moving back to wherever you joined from, or you know, wherever you consider home. I know as you just spoke there, I kind of thought about a lot of my good friends from battle school and where they are now. You know, there's a couple in Newfoundland. There's more of them out in Edmonton. In fact, a funny enough story, 2 of them work together on 2-week shifts as safety officers in Edmonton. They see each other for the switchover because they replace each other. Mm-hmm. And one goes back to Newfoundland and one stays there and works. Like, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's funny, but a lot of things and reminds me of when 2006, when Charlie Company came back, there was, and if I'm not right on the number, by all means, somebody come in and correct me, but I think it was upwards of 177 guys VR'd out of the military. There was like a freeze on OTing. The ranks were too low.
That freeze was still in existence when I got in and just released a couple of years into my contract.
Right, and that's tough, right? Because, like, even though you maybe don't want to go fight anymore, right? I mean, I'm not saying this happened by any means, but I mean, there is a kind of obligation in that job where, what are you here for then? If you're
infantry, you fight.
That's all I'm right. saying, right?
Right.
Like, it's the job, right?
It's the job. Like,
so
what do you do? Well, I train 2 times a day. I sit in an aggressive platoon room looking up CrossFit videos or fucking shooter videos or gun videos. Listen to my warrant, tell me kick-ass fucking war stories, and then go do push-ups, fucking clean my shit, get it ready for the next X, and then go to my X and do my job.
But at the same token, right? A very good routine. You have
wonderful routine.
You have your stuff.
PT.
Yeah, right. We're going like we knew Monday and Wednesday was a 13-kilometer run. Tuesdays and Thursdays were a 30-kilometer rucksack.
I never had that.
And then on Fridays I would play hockey, right? That's when I was home, right? And let me tell you, like, I don't want to just belittle it. There was a lot more work.
Oh yeah.
Right?
But there's so much joy in that. I love that.
But that's what I remember about living in the shacks in Edmonton. I remember there was never a dull moment.
Never bored.
I will tell you that much. There is never a dull moment when you live with 500 other animals. And that's, we all know that, right?
And we all have our own roles.
Yeah.
I was in the shacks and I was like the chill whatever dude. I did my push-ups before I went to the bar, and then I came home early and fucking went to the gym. It was like high fives in the hallway. I was going crazy. That was good.
Well, we actually back in Edmonton, we used to work as a group of bouncers at a bar. So the bar hired all of us,
Holy fuck.
and we all would go and work. I remember. Okay, this is. Let me try and think. It's about 2005. So it's in Edmonton. There's like a big rush of money from the oil. Everybody's
yeah,
working
I
on
grew
the
up in
rigs.
Edmonton.
Yeah. So, I'm
King Ralph.
we're working at a place at Union Hall is what it's called now.
Haha, I know you.
Yeah, but it used to be a bar before that, and we used to work there. And the guys used to pay us big money, and like six of us to drive down in trucks and go down there. And I
That's
remember.
a far drive too.
Yeah, right.
It's
Like
across the street. This is it.
yeah.
Holy.
So I ended up turning it out to being like I bartended in Edmonton too. I used to work at Bar Wild and the Roadhouse or whatever it's called now. It's like a big it's a big Western bar that's there.
You know what's awesome?
Yeah, I worked at
JC.
Cowboys too.
Cowboys, yeah.
Yeah.
JC, Ricky, Alicia, yo, what's up? That's my Edmonton crew.
Oh, I like. You know what? I remember so many good times from Edmonton, but I also have
Timke.
what?
Sorry. Another name, sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I remember good ones, but I also remember bad ones. So it's got some
Yeah,
highlights.
that's intense, but because to me, like, even entering the military, because I'm from, like, my dad's, like, full fucking native, and his family was beaten, and, like, whatever, beat the native out of them, totally reformed
Yeah,
and
that's
everything.
an awful thing.
So I didn't even know my existence. So when I went into the military, all I saw when I went to VIP hallways was these fucking paintings of like badass warriors. So I had to, I envision like perfection and like never doing fucking anything outside that box. And you grew up in the system, and you like totally opposite.
Well, yeah, like
Yeah.
not to. I'm not gonna name names because like nobody will know this, but at the time he was a master sniper for the PPCLI, and this is a long time ago because he was best friends with my mom, and that's who I used to hang out with as a young kid in Petawawa. Because I live in Petawawa, I live in Borden, I live.
So you, by all rights, should have been East Coast, like RCR.
Oh, I actually joined the military. I lived in Ottawa,
Yeah.
and I specifically asked to go to the PPCLI.
PPCLI,
Because my father had been in the PPCLI. My mom since remarried, and her husband was PPCLI as well. My mom was a supply tech, so like on and on and on. At the time I joined, it was pre 9/11.
That's cool.
It was the only thing that was open. That was gonna get me in the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the time I did it, I had great aptitude to do other things. I actually, my first choice was actually to be an engineer.
Nice.
Because like I knew, like whatever I did in the engineer, that I'd come out with something, right? Like a ticket or something. You
That's
know,
right,
like
man.
you
Not
don't
just a Walmart greeter.
Yeah, well, you don't come. Unfortunately, you don't come out of the infantry. Like, there's no like jobs that say like, oh, we need long range distance reconnaissance, right? Like, unless
Dude,
you're
that's
doing some.
At least you got that, man. I am grade number 2, great listener, great pack mule, and just good troopy.
No, but you know what? I think you sell yourself short. So don't sell yourself short.
I know, but
I think we all are capable of achieving great things. Just we have to figure out what that
skill
is.
sets are different within the city line. That's all I'm
Oh
saying.
yeah.
Man.
Oh, big time, man.
I can't fucking just fucking throw punch somebody. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
That's the thing you can do.
Oh, I
Or
do.
call them like, you want to fucking go?
So
You can't do that.
I'm gonna. You bring to me a memory. I live in Toronto. And me and my spouse at the time, we used to go to the Army Navy Air Force unit in Toronto because they used to have meat draws.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love that. I love that one.
Yeah, right, so-
ANF.
What?
I call it like the ANF.
Yeah, the ANF. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got her. Yeah, you know. And but they were really nice to me in Toronto, and they were.
Legion.
Uh, um, to each their own.
Each their own. Go
Each their
for
own.
it.
That's to each their own, and everything differs from different places. But
That's right.
they were really nice to me. The president was really nice to me. So anyway, we're going there, and my spouse at the time had a job packing flowers because it was near Valentine's Day, and the person who was working in her office says to her, um, like, what are you doing this weekend? And she's like, oh, well, I'm going with my fiance to the Army Navy Air Force unit, and then we're actually going to play darts at the Legion after, right? And
Oh, fantastic.
like I like to be
Woohoo.
to narrow the gap between people. So like sometimes it's nice to go and do different things, right? In Toronto, there's not a whole lot to do that's healthy, so that's a good thing to do, right? And then that's got me out of the house, and so I don't know where I was going. Squirrel. Where was I going with this?
Oh no.
I totally forgot my train of thought. Anyway, it was a good story, but I can't remember now. I was
Yeah,
oh yeah. So the lady says, well, why are you going there? Isn't that place full of crazy vets? Those are words, right? And my spouse had told me, and I had to go pick her up at this office, right? So, like, I have a choice when I walk in that door, right? I'm mad. Yeah, was I mad? Yeah, I was super insulted and super mad, but I think you have a choice, right? Do I go in and just affirm her belief of me
Yeah.
by being aggressive, crazy person, or do I maybe go in and try and educate her? If she doesn't listen, I gave it the best I could, right?
Hoorah. Yeah.
So, and Toronto gives a lot of
Neat.
examples like that, but
I've been really lucky though, because just in general in all big cities, because I'm just such like a lone wolf that I putts on my own just so perfectly. Like I just don't see any of the shit. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh man, that super sucks that you're homeless, man. Like here's my lunch, man, and he has like this heroin like horrible line. I'm like, that sucks, man. I'm just like lucky and I skateboard by and I appreciate the wealth that I'm able to try to attain.
one of the hardest things for any one of us to do is to actually sit and appreciate the things we have.
Oh, I think I'm gifted with that.
I think that's an absolute beautiful gift to have.
Yep.
Because a lot of, and I even myself I struggle with it, right? Some days, when you're not feeling your best or something like that, it can be worse, right?
Oh yeah.
The same thing I told you before, about my story and stuff like that, is the worst part about all of it. And I mean, I didn't even get into all of it, but the worst part about any of it is that there's someone out there who's just as bad, right? The worst,
That's right.
and that's the horrible feeling.
And that's why I think you're a great leader for my mentors, because you're here right now being open, vulnerable, and that's important. Get out there, connect, and let's be nice to each other.
But I mean that's exactly it, because no matter who we are and where we serve, we're all human, right? And I mean it's a nice novelty to say like, oh, go out and do one good thing, but if you do one good thing, that leads to two more, and like I've been a terrible human before, right? And I don't think I'd ever want to go back down that road.
Are you now more grateful because now, okay, so you've now experienced such intensity.
Yeah.
You've experienced like the old battle school way of a lost lineage of true hazing. You comradeship.
It actually ended while we were at hazing.
Yeah.
I remember because we still did have new guy games.
I was the course before the stop.
Yeah, like I was in, like, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it was still going on. I wouldn't say for my part in it that I ever really see anything really bad happen.
No, it's fun, good times.
Yeah, but and then they got rid of it, and I mean that is actually a great topic for a whole lot of discussion. is about how the esprit de corps went to crap because
That's right.
of that, and I don't think it's got anything to do with the drinking. I think it's more the place. It's more the
Yeah, give them a safe environment so they're not fucking smashing the shacks by accident.
well, and I mean, if really
Battalion hallway.
if it's that big of a problem, right? Like we are a logistics army, right? So why couldn't somebody figure out to have vans waiting at the ranks for everybody to go in certain areas where everybody lived,
That's right.
right? Like I'm just saying, like that. That's not the answer, right? But it is a suggestion.
Actually, you know what's really sad? This is a sad story. Is Battalion did have buses, and there was a horrible car accident at Battalion in 2010, and three gentlemen lost their lives.
I think I heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say their names because I cannot remember.
I can't
one
remember
name,
it right now either.
and I don't.
I know what
the
you're
other
talking
two.
about, though.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to disgrace.
Yeah,
all three.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you could look it up, right? Like,
Yeah,
but
we'll
yeah,
try it.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, it's still kills the esprit de corps. And I mean, while I was in, it was pretty hard to have sports or anything going on because everybody's on tour, right?
And we tried. We had rugby. We get like two
Football.
practices in,
Football.
and then boom, spool up for X. Well, in my case, spool up for an X, or get ready for
Your
workout.
warm-up training, right?
Yeah, T-triple-C, IPSWQ.
I did the first one.
columns.
I was really
cool.
happy. I did the very first
love-
T-triple-C course.
I love. Oh, what is it? There it is. I love T-triple-C.
When we did ours, man, I don't want to, give it all away, but like there was a huge budget, and I
Nice.
remember.
Oh, give it all away.
I remember cows getting blown up and
Yeah.
rappelling out of helicopters, and I'm telling you, it was
I
bad.
love rappelling
it,
out of helicopters.
it was badass, man.
That's
it
so
was
cool.
badass.
That's so
It was one of the coolest things when we got to work with the Alberta doctors to like learn how to operate on people because, I mean, their goal was, that you were gonna save the life. Like that.
I love and it worked.
And you know what it was? It was that we don't care about the long term care because they don't have that much time.
No, get the tourniquet.
We need
find
to get it done.
The main artery bleed if there is
And
one.
direct pressure.
Direct pressure.
Like grab it.
Boom.
Grab it. It is direct. Not
That's right.
push down. Grab it and clamp it
There
with
you
your
go.
hands, right?
Awesome.
So yeah, I thought it was one of the most interesting
so
things
cool.
I ever did.
That's
That and we went on Op Peregrine. You want to talk about like one of the in Canada ops? We went to Kelowna and fought the forest fires.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. What was the scenery there like?
I
during
mean,
that?
it was crazy in Kelowna. There was houses on fire.
Whoa.
People were like, their houses were getting burnt and stuff like that, and we were right down in there. The thing about it was like, I never seen. We went to Vernon. We had like a night out in Vernon. Like we were okay. You guys are off for the next 2 days, right? Like you're gonna go to Camp Vernon.
There
You
go.
stay there for a day. You can go out for the night.
Shower.
Just make sure you're back by 12. I thought curfew was like nobody showed back up for 12, right? Because we were still off the next day, and we went out, and I had never experienced anything like it. You see those movies where like guys come home from like, Iraq or Afghanistan or something, and like there's a parade and everybody's out there like, thank you. That is exactly what Vernon looked like that night. Because they were like, because like it was all the people from Kelowna and stuff, and we were all out,
Yeah.
in our cap hat and stuff like that, and it was just awesome. One of the best things I've ever experienced, and
Woohoo.
that is like
That's
way
so
early
cool.
in my career, right? And that's what it's about, right? And when I think back on everything, that right there almost encapsulates everything, right? Like why do you do do this job now? Why do you do all this stuff? Because it's our country, right? And it's people in it, and like,
I have a solution,
yeah.
and this wraps into it. And my
Yeah.
solution is that every battalion of every style of military and regiment and squadron, within their trade, they get civilian jobs and work alongside civilians in the civilian trade in Catback. So we have to follow our rules and follow the city bystanders. But there's infanteers on top of roof shingling alongside roofers. There's infanteers scraping roads alongside, and then there's engineers working along the machinery alongside the people, and we build relationships and respect for each other. And medics in hospitals, and they're medics in our hospitals.
Can I go one better for you?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so I love that, right? And I just talking about this the other day. One that the government will love and you'll love. Everybody has to serve in the military between the ages of blank and blank for at least 4 years.
That's nice, but we're not giving back capitalist wise.
Yeah, we are. We give them 4 years and or 6 or whatever it is that the criteria is, right? That they work through the military, right, to their aptitude test like we have, right? Like
That's
it's
right.
very, it's the pattern's already there.
I could only go infantry.
Well, the pot's already set, right? So
Yeah,
they have to
saying.
go between the ages of, let's say, not you're not gonna take their college if they want to go to college. They
That's
go.
right.
So you like say 24 to 30, right? 6 years, right? That's enough time if you
Oh,
wanted to
that's
go
nice.
to, and if you meet a certain criteria, it's tax free for you after, right? So that it boosts.
Incorporate both ideas.
Right? See, that's what I'm saying,
I
right?
like
And
that.
like, and then so I just,
Ooh, unity.
you know, veterans are happy because like they fit the criteria, right? And I mean, here's what I say when I say criteria. Like there has to be a board of people, right? Much smarter than me, right?
Mhm.
Who have to sit there and make a
Fuck no.
well, not smart. Well,
No.
well, I don't say they're smarter, but like there has to be a consensus.
We're on the board.
Consensus.
I want us to be the leaders of this country. No joke.
But I don't think that that's an awful idea. Now, I'm
It's
not
awful.
saying they have to all go in the infantry and it's like a draft or anything,
No.
but you have to serve your country. Why? A, it's going to integrate you with the people who are there for a lifetime, and who knows?
Oh.
Maybe you might find a
You
career.
love it.
Yeah, maybe you might love it and do it.
And that's what I will forever love.
Yeah.
The army.
I love it. I love
it.
when I was a kid, I used to run around with my buddies and play guns in the woods
Yeah.
for hours.
Because it's fun.
Hours.
I love the challenge of an ORV for 6 hours freezing while leaders recce is out doing the Charlie Delta cutoffs, assault lines, and fire bases, and then coming back and being springy. You've got to be like checked out, man. You can't have your sergeant look you in the eyes and you be so fucked up he doesn't understand what you understand. You know
The
what I'm saying?
best is when you're on nabs, right? And it's the middle of the night. You can't see nothing.
Mm-mm.
And he's, well, which way are we going? And you know what?
The moon says, "Fuck if I know." Nav check.
Yeah, I was just like,
Take
and
a
you
knee.
never want everybody to take a knee
No.
and your nap check.
Because
But-
staff's on you.
Yeah, but it's tough, right? But I think I don't know what it's like now, and I you know I'm curious actually. I'd be curious to see what it's like, but like those they have a whole bunch of things that came back in the military now, and but we're
Pioneers.
yeah I don't know if Pathfinder came out.
Pathfinders
Did
are
it?
back.
Yeah,
I
right
know
on. See, so like these are
2 individuals who had gonads enough to.
that's good. That's
fucking
awesome.
destroy it.
That's awesome. Like they're that kind of stuff
Cool.
is the stuff that keeps people, especially like, and I'm not downgrading any of us because I did it too, right? Is anybody in the infantry, right? What do you got to work towards, right? Like,
That's right.
you know, you got to have something to strive for other than rank, because like
That's right.
that's kind of cutthroat, right? Like you know,
Rank
Yeah.
is cutthroat now because it's bubble based, and PERs are so fluff, and so you literally have to give everybody fucking. They were changing it when I was getting out because they were trying to be more authentic and reducing the number of bubbles to the right
yeah.
on purpose. So you do have to build up over time, which is true, man. You can't
Yeah.
be having fucking like it was stressful for me to be a 6-year Jack because you guys were my fucking bosses, and I was like, holy fuck, like I can't fuck up. Like this is their expectation of what a good 2IC is, so I had to always do that, perform.
Tough
So it was
time,
good.
man.
It was fun. I loved it. I'm glad I thought that way because I wouldn't be successful if I didn't think any other way.
I really don't think somebody would have put you there had they not known that you were going to
That's
take
right.
advantage of
That's
that
right.
situation. Right?
That's right.
Yeah. So, I think, it's interesting, and it reminds me of when we were there and we had, lost quite a few people, right, on our tour, and they really didn't have the ranks. People were getting out. It was kind of like a weird time because I know a lot of guys who were older were just getting out.
Oh yeah, because they did think about that. They did let's say the Rwanda,
Bosnia,
Bosnia.
all
Oh, and
that. It's
Bosnia's
crazy.
fucked.
Crazy.
Holy, yeah, that's all
and
crazy.
and Cyprus.
Oh,
Like here's
Turkey.
here's a like eye opener. Like guys were going back to Cyprus on their 4-day decompression from Afghanistan. People went to Cyprus on tours, peacekeeping, like not that long ago, right?
Yeah,
Right. So like surreal, right?
Think
Like
about
oh,
that. Oh,
oh, wait a minute.
but I'm glad we went to Cyprus because I love that Mediterranean Sea.
Oh my
man.
God. Was the water ever nice? I
cried.
went golfing on the
I golf too.
Yeah,
That's
the
when
gully.
Yeah.
The gully.
I got a great shot.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I gotta take. I'm definitely getting a copy because I was wondering how I was gonna get a picture. Because every time I go golfing, I describe to guys this gully and how you had to drive 200 yards to get over it to the other side.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
And you flanked around, and so that means you went around north because the sun set, or you went south because the sun set on the east there. It was beautiful. It was right on this peninsula thing, and there's like these rich ass houses on that one part of the course.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful, and you can see the whole water.
I love South America. I love Ecuador, and I love the Mediterranean, because hey, North America, like we are in the fucking hustle bustle.
Why
They are not.
I just recently,
Nope.
my last trip, I went to the Dominican. I went to Hard Rock, and for anybody, I can tell you, it is expensive. I paid for my spouse, like I had told you, our situation. It wasn't very amicable in the finances, but like anyway, needless to say, like what a place though, right? Like the down south and stuff like that, beautiful places. But man, Cyprus, Napa, like
Oh yeah.
I try and explain that to people, and I always say that it reminds me of Cancun on spring break.
And to me, it's also kind of a spiritual place because that's the Templars were there, man.
Yeah.
The Romans were there.
Yeah, that is not it's a
that's
very ancient
staging-
place, right?
Staging spot for every major invasion. Either way,
No.
people needed that fucking island. The first bank was on that island.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Oh yeah. That like I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful place. I wish to go back there. I think it's too expensive.
Canada is as beautiful, but we only have so long to see these spots because winter tries to kill us.
Well, yeah. Oh man.
You only have so long.
Yeah, like it'd be nice to live in BC, but like I think the rain is just as bad as.
Nah, the rain. Fuck that. I take rain. I love rain.
You really like
100%.
every day?
Fuck it. I haven't experienced every day for 6 months. I can't say.
Okay, so like I give you an example. So if would you take months of snow or 3 months of no sun at all? Like
Snow.
You'll take the snow?
I'll take the snow.
See, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like you take the snow still?
Fuck yeah! I need that sun.
The sun is the important one. So Toronto 2 years ago only had like something like 3 days of sun in a 4-month period. That was crazy. There was a whole bunch of stuff out there with like SAD, which is seasonal depression.
Yeah.
Seasonal. If I'm getting it wrong, I'm sorry, but like it's seasonal depression, and I only seen it. I didn't have it. I just experienced it from a partner standpoint, and it's awful, man. I was like, holy Jesus Christ.
We prepare our house every year to beat seasonal depression as best I can.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. And like one of the biggest things I thought was recently I started going to bed earlier, like force myself, like 8, 9 o'clock.
Oh, good for you.
So then that way at least I'm you know what? If I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm not that disappointed.
No.
But if everything worked exactly the way that I said it, buddy, I would be a millionaire, right?
That's right.
So like, remember that like my sleep pattern doesn't happen as well as it should. I mean, I have nights where it's not the greatest.
How long? Where are you in your healing process? Where are you? How long since you've like fucking abused anything? Just period.
I have I like haven't quit drinking. Like I have the occasional beer here and there, but in comparison to where I was drinking 40s of vodka every night with like
Oh fuck.
with like 10 Red Bulls and like 3 8 balls of cocaine, I would say that where I am now.
Were they fun nights or were they like?
Oh yeah,
whatever?
man.
Oh,
I
yeah?
could tell you, I used to work in Halifax at the bar, and I tell you a story about Mike Smith, who's Bubbles, and
Oh yeah, what's up?
and
Fucking Randy.
holy fucking Jesus, there's
Fucking
shit hawks
shit,
everywhere.
man. Fucking shit, bro.
Oh my God, you fucking hair, dude. Give me a
Fucking-
cigarette. But him and Axl Rose one night. That was
Oh.
yeah, it was.
What the fuck?
There's a lot of blow involved. I specifically was working, so that's all I'm gonna say. But
Very good. Working.
no, it's long gone by now. Who cares? Like he doesn't own that bar anymore, and it's probably because he drank so much booze there. But yeah, like
Oh, you can't be doing that. Once you become.
yeah, drinking your own bar is a bad idea. And you know what? That's another thing. At one point when like I had got an award and I had some money, I was actually gonna buy a bar in New Minas, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. Now that I think about it, but I mean, I got a million things like spouses and buying the breasts, and like then them splitting up and like having to like tell the girl, well, are you going to give me one of those or my, my money, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a weird conversation.
Yeah. Holy smokes, man.
Yeah. So and then like recently, I thought I had actually seen it all. Really, like not in the case that I know it all, but that I had seen it all.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
like oh my God, like this is crazy, right? But then just recently, I was like put in a mental health ward for like 6 days and put back on oxycontins because I was a veteran, right? And these just happened in June, right before I moved here.
Wow.
So I know that it happens to people, right? And then you get in that situation, and while I was in the mental health, and I'm not saying that I'm the only one, so just want to make that clear. But like the guy was asking me like, like the cop was asking me in the box. I'm in this box in the mental health ward. He's saying like, oh, so like because my spouse had told him I was an Afghanistan vet. He's like, so you went to Afghanistan? I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, you must have hate brown people. And I was like, no, not really. And he's like, you kill anybody? And I was like, well, what do you think, right? Like, like you just go over there to play patty cake, right? But I thought it was funny because like this is the questions the cops asking me, right? And then the doctor comes in and says, well, you seem aggravated, sir. I said, just a slight bit, right? And then I spent 5 days there, and this is going somewhere. I promise you, people. It's I ended up having to be forced to go back on oxycontins because they didn't have medical marijuana. They didn't have my prescription. I use it. It's gotten me off of so many meds and helped me in my life. So I'm a big supporter of that. But like, it's
Me too.
it's scary that a lot of treatment places still don't accept people. So that makes it very difficult. I know. Try to bridge the gap. I think we're good now with like October 17th. I think it'll get a lot better. But like that's the challenges that I've gone through before, right? A person can't go to a treatment program because they have medical marijuana as a prescription. Can you imagine, right? It's like
You have to sign your life away to get oxys so you can get into the fucking program.
right. How's that? It doesn't. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But you know what? I promise you it's changing. And one thing that has happened is like
Heavy.
it's getting better, right? Like the systems, the people, the awareness, right? Like, and again, goes back to
That's
what we're
right.
doing this weekend, right? I was just out today and like they have the posters up at racks and like Don
Oh,
Cherry's.
you rock, buddy.
So,
Yo,
no,
what's up?
I just hope that we have more and more people,
That's right.
right?
You know what? Everybody is doing really well. We're almost out of the 400 tickets that we had.
I know he said like under 1,200. So, yeah,
Like,
that Carrie told. I think she said it was under 1,200
people?
left
Oh,
tickets.
left.
Yeah,
Yo,
left. Yeah,
what?
yeah, but
Oh,
that's huge.
So many
That's
people
huge.
helping.
That's huge.
Whoa.
And like the thing is, it's gonna bridge the gap, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna bring us all closer.
That's the point, and that's the
Community.
point of this community.
Right? Exactly. A community.
Perspectives, chilling, and just getting each other, because you can't know that I am sad that I didn't fucking kill as many Taliban as you, without you knowing I'm saying that. And I say that to all vets. I look at you guys and I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
you guys are so just like, I put you on a pedestal. I saw the Webbers, my mentors, the badass guys, and I'm never good enough. But you can't know that that's how we look at you if we don't say it open, and you can't.
And you know those feelings are shared by everybody else, right?
Yeah, that's
like
right.
I had feelings all the time that I never did enough, right? And like
Crazy.
you know, as a medic, like helping people because we didn't really have medics at the time, right? So I always felt like there was a bit more I could do, right? And maybe the frustration was when I was physically able to. I was probably doing so many drugs, right? Or if I hadn't have chosen to drink a lot and stuff like that, I could get back in, right? But that's not gonna work, right? So that is where you take the step and say, well, what can I do now?
What can I do now?
Yeah, right. Like, and at what point, you know, like, do you stop? And I believe me, I've sat there, had myself a pity party lots of times, for months in the house, and never moved out of my house.
What were your? Can you tell me? Because do you think it was like spiritual pity parties? Were you like deep into yourself, just confused? Were you thinking of concepts of what you are, or what was your driving force for the art of madness?
I would say that the driving nail behind it would be the fact that I didn't know who I was and what I was gonna do,
Mm-hmm.
and like, I mean, obviously anybody who's used drugs, right? And made to alter your perception, right? And when I did that stuff and drank, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel like I felt like I hadn't done enough, or maybe I could have saved this person or that person had I done something different,
Man.
something like that. And you know it, right? To live with that every day, the only thing that would take it away is being so drunk and so high. It took a vicious turn though. It went from where I used to do it to that to where I do it, and then I'd look for the stuff on the internet, and I would look for all sorts of propaganda and stuff like that, and I'd go down. So
Bunker 420.
yeah, right.
Al
You know,
Jazeera.
put the helmet on, right? You know, I go, right, off you go, and then, you know, it's a struggle that a lot of guys are having, which is not like you know, it's not one that's out there. It's not as well known to people, but we know it.
Oh yeah.
And I know that there's
Yeah.
more than just us doing it, right? So
No, there's a whole community.
yeah, right, and that's tough, right? And
I tried to get Funker to sponsor my gym on the early days, because like, yeah, this gym is just us, and so I was like, hey Funker, like, fucking, I'll put up a banner, sponsor me.
yeah, no,
At least I asked.
no,
No.
really,
I'm just,
why?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm random. I didn't have a plan. I was just like, yo, what's up? Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Hello.
I got you, but you can always ask me, right?
Yeah, that's right.
If you don't ask, the answer is always no,
That's right.
right? And yeah, so yeah, and like you don't feel like you're yourself, and don't think you're useful for anything, and I just found that helping people was the thing that made me feel more useful again, right? Um, I've seen like things from helping a guy move. And when I say all this stuff, I've had help myself. There's a lot of people who have tried to help me, and a lot of people who have really helped me
Cool.
in my life. And I didn't do it alone. I didn't like just. I'm not, the
Didn't wake
marathon
up.
runner by myself. Yeah, right. There was people involved in it. There was, certain times, certain organizations of which gave me help too, right? And
That's cool.
I figure, why not try and give some of it back, right? If, like, especially guys who have a lot of time, and we can do something,
That's it. Like we worked for this free time, if you will, and that's why I took, because I got medically released, and all that has been put back into giving back to our outside sources. Like, become inspired to be an entrepreneur. Become inspired to fucking go to soup kitchens and fucking find those local vets. Go to old folks' home and talk to the fucking widows. That shit's cool, man.
Yeah,
Connects it.
there's volunteer positions all out there, and the hardest part is taking the first step.
The first step, outside the bedroom, outside into the fucking outside world.
I forget what book I read about it, and I will find the name of it. About the guy who was, one step at a time, right? And I know we hear this,
Yeah, holy
repetitively,
fuck,
like
yeah.
the beat the dead horse.
Fucking, yeah. Move on, carry on.
But when I look back at it, it was getting out of the bed, going to the shower, instead of having what most, like, some of us do have, which is no routine as our routine, to try and make a little bit better routine. Instead of fighting it, just go with it.
I love routine.
Right? See, instead of fighting it, just go with it.
I live fucking modified Bushido. Every motion I do, I aim for, like, perfection. And it's like, I get upset, but there's a double-edged sword with my own madness, because with that comes, like, if my dishes aren't done, if my fucking, crazy.
Setting realistic expectations.
Yeah, and corners of the fucking house, if they're not clean, it bugs me. You know what I mean? It's a big house. You see this house? It's a town.
Oh, yeah,
3 stories. There's a lot.
I am not coming to be your maid. No,
man.
No.
But Brittany asked me, she's like, if we could ever, we can't right now, but would you have a maid? And I looked at her, I'm like, need or want? And she's like, need a maid. Do we need a maid? I'm like, no, we don't need a maid.
Well,
but I would want one to reduce stress.
Now, you see, this is just you and me talking here, right?
That's
in
right.
your house. I know someone who does it for $20 an hour, and there's like 2 of them, and they do another guy's house that I know that is actually bigger than yours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not by any, but they clean a house that's bigger than yours.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's cheap, so whenever you're asking, it's funny, she actually turned out to be a second cousin of mine. I didn't even know she lived here.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Wow. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Off cleaning.
Yeah, down that rabbit hole. Like,
Yeah,
I'm a man at OCD. Yeah. Like this. But and I know that hopefully the organizations going forward are gonna get progressive.
Hey, let's go back to your organization, because I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
Let's go back to your organization. Let's give you however long you want, but let's explain how you can help others transition or get the resources they need to transition.
Perfect. So I work as a peer mentor for the VTN, which is a Veterans Transition Network. And yes, there are a lot of places out there that use the word transition. I get that. It is confusing. I get it. But what this is it's a treatment program, and it's 3 weekends, 10 days over 3 weekends, right? So you go for 4 days, you have a week and a half off, then you go for another 4 days, then you have a week off, and then you go for the last 2 days. The way it's done like that is so that you can integrate the tools that you gain and the resources that you find, you can put them into motion, right? Like a routine, right? Exactly. And not to give it all away, but it is a really great course. I know there's lots out there. We do them in Kingston and Gananoque, and
I like Gananoque.
yeah, it's up actually at Glen House Resort.
Cool.
And we do have space on the one in November on the 2nd. So anybody out there listening knows somebody can get a hold of Arthur, can get a hold of me, and we'll set you up. And if it doesn't work on that one, we run them all year long until the summer. And the reason it's not run in the summer is because of kids, right? And everybody has kids, nobody has time.
That's right.
And we have men and women's. So, and also I work as a resource manager for veterans, and that's like volunteer.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, but it's just it's a really fancy name for I just connect people with things that they may need. Some examples are helped guys get hockey gear so they can play hockey in this game.
Woohoo!
So, like, just an example, right?
Yeah,
like it's
that's
only
a small thing, but it's so big to that individual, man.
Right.
And they're part of fucking
because they're
something.
part of something, right?
Yeah.
And other people, that happens to do with vet paperwork. I helped somebody get to Edmonton, and I keep in touch with all these people, and I'm really happy that they found me and or somebody told them to talk to me, because I have unfortunately tried a lot of things, and I know a lot of things, or people who have done other things, and I love to talk to people. So I take what they do and I look it up, and if I can't find the answer, I will find somebody who has the answer for you. I like to be leading edge on stuff that I put in myself, so I'm on to the marijuana right now and learning all about that. I make creams and stuff like that, that's healthy stuff, and try to be up on that. And it's a new
killers to hopefully get you out of the bed if your knees or hips or fucking neck is sore.
Exactly, and also it goes just as easy, Arthur, to be honest with you, as me knowing the person who handles vets in the company that can get you a prescription and can help you do the paperwork. I've met the person, so I know her. So I can refer you to them so that you can
the source.
Get your exactly right. I've already cut out the 3 phone calls that you gotta wait for or something else. I give you the direct person's call.
Yeah. Or the emails or the Google searches.
Right.
When you're already like super stressed and you're looking at the Google search, you don't know what the fuck you're even gonna ask Google.
I signed into VAC 16 times once in one day.
Wow, good for you.
Different times.
Yeah.
With a different password.
Oh wow.
It's like it was logged.
Wow.
They called me because they were like, like I'm not the computer whiz, but we can figure it out, right? Like
That's right.
together, right? If anybody ever asked me something about a gym, the first person I would come and ask, right, would be you.
That's
right? And we all have a different skill, right? But at the same time, other people can't find those people and connect. The connection, right?
Shit.
Yeah.
And we all have that one special, like, we're all integral in a section.
Yeah.
Period. Every one of us
good.
is super important.
Yeah.
But when we get out, and we don't have our section, and we're now alone, I have one good skill. But where's my team? The rest of my skills.
It's what we're just missing. We're not finding our people yet, right? And we gotta keep looking. And when you find the right people and you find the right team, you'll know. You know right away. And then they just one person at a time. We had a great thing up at the mental health. I met a guy, and he asked me about the VTN. And I got him in touch with our coordinator, and hopefully he's going to be on a course, right? So that's one. That right there in itself, minus everything else that happened, is a huge victory.
Yep.
Right? Is a win.
Win.
Right? So we have one guy, and hopefully that one guy comes and he passes it, like the old saying goes, pass it forward.
Yep.
Right? And the next guy
That's
helps
a whole line.
or gets 2 more people, right?
That's
And
right.
then we get our team, right? So like most of the guys I've met through treatment, I still know, I still talk to, and that honestly, I know doctors and everybody else will tell you much different things, I think is always the goal of treatment, to connect people, right? From the day one that you're born, like connection is severed,
That's right.
and you're always again longing for the connection.
And you see, it's this is really like I'm fucking reaching,
Yeah.
but Holocaust victims,
Yeah.
the ones that lost true hope, they 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 all died. So many people fucking died. The gypsies died. The fucking Ukrainians died. But anyway, a lot of fucking people died. But the ones that survived that intense time of Stalin, Hitler, and fucking Mussolini and Portugal. Anyway, the whole world was fucked. So much death. But the ones that stuck together in their spirituality of community survived, and that was their biggest.
That's
thing.
right, because they keep helping each other.
That's
and,
right.
And as a team, yeah, you know,
as
like
soon as you leave,
yeah.
your spirit, your human spirit, your connection with humans is lost.
Alone.
What do you do then? Where you get sicker, you get when people get stressed and they're isolated, they're all they're sick, and then it turns, or with maybe your case, the booze, the 2-6er turns into a fucking 40.
Goes to a
I couldn't
60
imagine.
Goes to a 60-pounder, right? Like,
My liver, I would be such an embarrassing person. I'd shit my pants. I'd piss my pants. I couldn't do it.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it visually. Oh, and I get my face breaks out red.
Yeah, well, I rarely do it now. Like it's a rare occasion, but
I'm making light of the serious.
But no, you know, I think with everything that's going on, I mean, like people are healthier eaters, and like our bodies are getting better. So with like a healthy respect for yourself,
go to the cancer center.
What?
Go to the cancer center right now.
Why?
All of them are of the 23 to 32 bracket range currently, at the times that I've seen it.
Oh, really?
Because our parents dealt with processed food for half their life, and they started getting cancer at the end when we assumed that we were weakest. However, I think because we have grown up with processed, there's a lot. My buddy died at 24 fucking years old with a stomach cancer that is only supposed to be in old people. So it could be processed. That's a whole other fucking. I'm gonna throw this out. We're not gonna go down this rabbit hole.
Right. Well, you know what? I know, and it actually made me think of something else. Actually, it was like a hot topic, and I was driving over here, and I was thinking about it. I remember a time in battle school, and I tell you this story because it is gonna lead somewhere. We were doing an inspection one time, and they came in, and somebody had left the bottle of Windex on the windowsill. So our QIC, whoever it was who found the Windex bottle, was, oh, who was this? He's got to be in uniform. So like they actually made private Windex. So I know where this is going. This is going down a little bit of a dark road, so be prepared, listeners. So we got tired. We had to feed this Windex bottle like when we were at mess, right?
So like in your pocket.
So yeah, it was in each guy's pocket at least once, like at some time, and we were doing section attacks with this goddamn thing full of spaghetti, right? It was it's awful. So we come to this decision that we're gonna hang him in the locker. I know it's not a bad thing. It's a light of a subject, but we at the time, and this is what the point is I look back and think we made jokes about it, but they actually didn't, right? We had to do fire guard for like days. We had to have a candlelight vigil, right? Which was really a different thing. Now, I say this openly because I have tried to commit suicide many times by many different methods. I've cut my wrist before. I drove one time to the hospital with like, I think it was like an unannounced number of grams of blow in my car, like all over the place and all over me. And I drove to the hospital because I was having a heart attack. And stuff like that, right? And I've had people like here, been friends of mine who have committed suicide and been successful. And I think that is one of the major things and why we need to keep going out there, no matter what happens. If somebody doesn't get your name right, it happens. If somebody says something about crazy vets, it happens. Somebody doesn't like your tattoos, it happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you keep going out, that it won't get as bad. And I know I go down the hole too, right? Like, and I'm having issues in my life just like everybody else. And I think, oh, if it goes this way, what happens? And then will I be depressed? And will I sit at home all the time? And will I not talk to anybody else, right? And what road will that take me down? And you know how you go through that.
That will take you down that road.
You know what I mean? And that that just the fact that it's like that.
It eats away.
Yeah, right. And without helping people or putting yourself out there, that's going to consume you.
Yeah.
It's not going to just, and it's going to take over, right?
I switched my consumption, and I know I have, and mine isn't just work.
Yeah.
I love it, and I fucking fully embrace it.
And you could do it 24/7, but then you'd lose out on all the other good things.
That's right, and that's why Brittany's reining in. That's why she's the CEO of the gym. I'm just the fucking janitor, straight up.
I love the fact that you have a relationship, and I will say this from not just personal experience. I know a lot of other guys and women, right? Service women, who don't have a partner, who both of you work together.
Oh yeah.
Like a partnership.
Yeah, 100%. Today was a great example, man. It was like Brittany made dinner, but while Brittany was making dinner, I was playing with the kids, vacuuming. Then she asked me to get the emulsion ready for the screens that we're printing for Fight for Bean, my sister-in-law and Brittany's sister who has cancer, and she's going through a hell of a time. And chemo isn't intense until you know somebody with chemo, to be honest. I was like, oh, it'll never happen to me. Oh, neat. I got a little mustache for prostate cancer, I think.
That's correct.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
The
no,
cancer...
You don't know until you see it.
Oh, that's right, but that's not the point. Anyway, it's just super shitty, man, and... teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork.
And then Brittany and I are just like, and then we got to pick Ryder up at Oxford. We only got one vehicle because I gave the vehicle to Brendan. So if we didn't work as a team, the whole point of this fucking ramble, if we didn't work as a fucking team, the dog shit in the backyard would stack. The dishes would stack. The flies would come. The lawn would not be done because then there would be a resentment with two parties that think one is working harder than the other.
Exactly.
So you cannot prescribe chores. You just have to see a fucking job and then do it to your best of the ability at that time. If you only pick up half the shit and then you have to lay down, at least you picked up half the shit and you can be proud of half the shit, because tomorrow you still got some more shit to pick up.
Yeah, and when you treat people with care and compassion instead of criticism and ridicule, right? Like
you just say, hey, thank you so much for what you did.
Yeah, for that part of it, right?
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, and
rock.
Yeah, struggle too, right? Like I know there's there's days when it's probably not.
No,
great,
Bernie
right?
and I are like two fucking elements coming together, and there's like
you're like Superman and Kryptonite.
Oh fucking no, not even, because that'd be a weakness. We are two walls that just like slap hands, and it's just like nothing moves, but it's fucking violent. It's intense.
Oh, like Moses parting the seas, and when
yeah.
they came back together.
That's it.
Oh, now I'm totally visually.
It's two fucking ways.
Yeah, that's. But I like that I like the dynamic you have, and when you see people that have that kind of thing, when I first met you both, I didn't actually and this is not a knock on Brittany.
Yeah.
I didn't look at her as your wife. I looked at her I could see that it was like your fire team partner and your buddy.
Yeah, 100%.
And the way it went down.
Our relationship is best when Brittany is my best friend first.
Yeah, right, and that's where it always should start, and I think that's tough for.
It is tough.
Because
you live together.
Oh yeah.
How the fuck can you be best friends when you live together and you have roles and responsibilities of a married or couple? There's these fucking things that we put onto ourselves of pressure that just can go fuck off, because I just recently lost some of it. I still go crazy, but now at least I'm open. I'm like, Brittany, I'm feeling super fucking overwhelmed, and there could be somebody talking to me just normal, but then overwhelming me. I'll turn to her, I'll ignore that person. It's like, sorry bud, I'm super fucking overwhelmed, you need to guide me right now, and I'm open with that.
You know what? And you just nailed it. you nailed it, right? You just nailed it, right? In the communication part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am super anxious right now, and I need to leave. Can we do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, not, I'm not saying that right now myself.
Yeah.
You know, like, I have had that experience, right? And then when you're with somebody and you can trust that, then oh my goodness, right? Like, it's nice to see, right? And every person, like, I'm sure I help my friend who's having a hard time with drugs, right? And he went back to rehab and is doing better. Right, I'm sure I'm an example for him because I've been like also 2 years clean off cocaine. I don't take any oxycontins at all, right? Like any of that stuff. So super
Nice.
happy about that. The
Yeah.
next task is to butt out and have that done forever.
Cigarettes?
Yeah, and
Yeah, especially, hey, bud, look at all those. Cannabis is totally legal. You can get nice coffee now, and then instead of pulling out a cigarette, you pull out a cannabis joint.
I'm telling you, it will change me, right? Because
It's gonna be so nice.
I have done stuff with Soldier On before and like with them, and while I was on that, I needed to use my medical marijuana, and it was like very frowned upon where we were.
Yeah, there's still
Eh,
the vets in there, and they're
Yeah, yeah, you know, and I get it. The change is coming, right?
Mhm.
The change is coming, right? And it will come. It's just patience, right? And I'm not always the best with that, but yeah, it really felt like you had to say like, oh, okay, well, you know, I don't really get mad at you when you wake up and take like 4 Percocets and 3 of the Razepams to get through your day.
Yeah.
I don't knock on your door and say, hey, give me the pills, right? Like I don't say you can't take the pills with a glass of water, right? But why? As long as I am not in your personal space, right? And
With the smoke, agreed.
yeah,
'Cause you
with
gotta
the
be
smoke,
nice.
because
You gotta
like
be nice.
I understand. Also, I understand around children because they you're not giving them the choice. You're taking the choice away,
Yeah.
right? Because if you're blowing smoke into this kid's face and stuff like that, and you're going down there, you're taking their choice
Oh,
away.
yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean.
nasty.
That's a big. That's
No,
that's
no.
just the same as lying to somebody, right?
Yeah.
You're taking their choice away from them of responding to you properly, right?
Yeah.
Or even like saying, like when I used to go out and party and I used to have a spouse, right? I would never call, right? Be out the guys and out with whoever, right? And I wasn't open and honest, right? And then like she's like, well, you're not giving me a choice to like forgive you,
Mhm.
right? And realized that a long time after, right? And if you lie to somebody, you just take their choice away. And if, like again, back to the smoke, you're smoking in front of kids. I think it's terrible. Don't do that. But do I think that you should be able to smoke a marijuana joint anywhere that cigarettes are allowed to be smoked? Absolutely.
Yeah, buddy.
110%. There is no person out there who's ever overdosed on the actual cannabis. I say that because there are people out there who lace it with fentanyl, and people have died from that.
That's right.
That is not medical. That's not cannabis. That's not the plant. That's not how it goes. I am not an expert. There is no experts and no doctors, but nobody's overdosed on marijuana. And I cared adventure the last time you could tell me two guys who sat in their basement and decided to smoke a joint and rob a bank.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it just, they say it's a gateway. It's the only gateway it's to is to the fridge, right?
Yeah.
Like that's it, right? So.
or to creativity with a pencil.
Well, yeah,
or
right.
whatever,
Or yeah, you know what? My buddy has some, and he cleans his house, right?
That's right.
And other people, they write music or poetry, and like that is
spiritual for possibly some tribes within certain ceremonies. Very few.
absolutely
It's not
right.
overly
It's
used
yeah.
now.
So I don't think the way that they kept it for a long time is kind of weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see the change.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
And I think this is a fun one. Then we'll finish. But I think for the future of legions and NF's clubs, the younger generation, let us have our smokes there and change it. Maybe bring some UFC. I don't know what else.
Ooh, okay. That is, man. I'm gonna have to come back and we're to talk about that
Yeah.
one because, I mean, I do think they need to get progressive
Yeah, we need to evolve, man.
And what progressive entails, I'm not sure.
You know what? This will be a thought. That'll be a thought for a future.
I think that's a good one because like I got a lot of questions about how do we get new blood? Like how do we do this?
Dude, you should ask them the motherfucking question. What are your treasurers motherfucking doing?
I
They're
think
losing money because they're not being smart because they're not grabbing us. And listen, I'm gonna bring this.
I know it's heated.
Get the fuck.
Heated.
Make money. Make money. Shake that booty. Make that money. All right. Like, be out there because we are capitalists at heart. We're aggressive people. Use that and fucking grab money, and then you can help each other. So Legion, stop fucking losing all your money because you're not paying attention to your hydro bill. Make money, bring in money, and guess what you can do with that money? Guess what? You can help your buddy, your fire training partner, and you can lift him up by giving him a business.
Yeah, and
that's
like,
what I want to do.
You know what? I think that we can all. I think you will do that, and I was listening to Brittany about the plan and all that stuff, and how I was thinking how wonderful it would be to fit into that, right? And be there and also do that, right? And I know, right? So, you know what? It's a real deal, and like I know they offer programs actually for business owners through VAC. I don't know the exact.
They're frustrating for me because I'm dyslexic and I am prideful and have an ego issue. And when these motherfuckers poke chest with me and then insult my intelligence because I can't keep up with them in paperwork, I walk out.
You know what? I wouldn't. There's no disagreement with. You won't hear any disagreement from me with that. It is a frustrating system. It's a frustrating way to do it. Sometimes not the right people get chosen. Sometimes the wrong people get chosen. My only advice, and I think you do it anyway, so maybe not for you, but for the other guy, is not to give up. There's other ways to find around, and I mean, I'm saying this very, very like on the fence, like, and I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt where it's due, but I've had problems where, like I've called places, not gonna name names, where I've called for their HR person, let's say, or their point of contact for a veteran, right? And they never return my calls, like 3 or 4 times. And it happens, right? People are human, right? Messages are missed and misplaced, and that's fine. But don't give up. Like, find another one. And I know for you, it's not giving up because you haven't given up. You've redirected it.
Yeah, I just made my own.
Yeah, right. And that is not giving up too, right? No. Like that, exactly, right? So
I said I didn't get the system, so
I'm gonna make the system,
make it
right? And everybody nowadays, like when I said a veterans resource manager, who do you think came up with that? Mm-hmm. That's me. It wasn't anybody else who said, "Oh, you're a." Yeah, cool. Everybody nowadays I find is creating their own job anyway. Mm-hmm. If you're not creating your own business, you need to figure out what skills you have that are really well, and find a job that's in that. Like a social worker is great, but that doesn't help my veteran community.
Yeah.
Right? What does, right? And there's other people who do the same job, right? I know them. There's a lovely lady who I first.
Make sure we write down all these things because we're going to put it in the description up below.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure this is a really good description.
Oh yeah, like it's an organization called Many to One. It's one woman who volunteers her time, and if you call her and ask her a question, like say you were a vet and you were like, oh, I want to know how to get my medals back because I lost my medals, right?
Cool.
Another one, right? She will say, she will look up the resource, right? And there's people out there, and I thought, well, this is such a great one, right? But like, why not
and she's only so busy. So now if you
that's only her part-time, that's her volunteer time.
That's right. So with you can push some people there, know that, she's at capacity. Now you can push people somewhere else that is not yet at capacity.
Yeah, and even if you know the thing yourself, like I tell everybody else, is that it's only personal experience, right? Mm-hmm. The only thing I can guarantee you is that everything that you do will change you. Whether it be for the good or the bad is completely your choice, right? Like, can only lead you to the water. It can make you drink, right? Like,
That's right.
you know what I mean? And like,
Only thing I think about all that, I love that, is we walk to the fucking water, but let's remember the day when we kneel in front of it and are about to fucking die.
absolutely, I agree.
Better like, thank you table for holding up my laptop right now. You know what I mean? Thank you for being in my home and chilling with me.
Thank you very much for having me. It was
everything.
unbelievable.
Friendship, it's cool. Thank you to lovely wife Brittany.
Yes, thank you your wife and family for having me here, and I hope I wasn't too loud. I'm usually a really loud speaker,
oh my
so
God. They got my gift, and the gift is to sleep through fucking anything.
Well, and that is a priceless gift.
Oh, I got two then. I got thankful and sleep, and that's what saved me. Childhood mind.
Oh, sleep is important.
Yeah, it is, man. Is there any clothing points you wanna?
Not really. I hope anybody out there is having a problem or having something to come talk to anybody. Don't just suffer by yourself.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to give a shout out to Hockey for Heroes, October 28th, 2 p.m. Please attend. It's a story and a perspective, eye-opening event, I hope. And I hope it's just high fives all around. Look to your neighbor. Hey, remember how the church used to do that? Look left and right, look behind you. Let's do that, hey, but without the weirdness of the church. Hey, we don't need
without the effect of an organization.
That's right. We don't need that.
It's just about helping each other.
That's right. So, and then I'm going to give a shout out to Red House, St. Louis Bar and Grill, SVG Comics, Portraits for Honor, Vortex, Napanee, Hockey Arena, Vista Hockey Arena, Leon's, all of Kingston, Veteran Transition Program,
OSIS. There's so many that go on and on. And don't forget to even give yourself the Iron King where you can pick up tickets. This man works his tail off so that we can have butts in the seat. So if you are looking for a gym to maybe hang out in and talk to somebody, or work out, or buy a ticket, Iron King.
Drink some coffee.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then lastly, please, H.A.F is a beacon. When you see people wear it, you know that they give a shit, and they're active listeners. We are humble, we are kind, and one family, one community. Let's make the world a little better. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, buddy.
Cool, nailed it.